sat down on the roadside under a tree and closed his eyes to meditate. In his meditation, he wanted the Lord to walk on the most beautiful road ever created. He made a road in his mind. And the first thing he did is he paved every inch of the road with diamonds, emeralds, rubies, sapphires, lapis lazulis, the most precious gold and silver. But that's kind of hard on your feet. He took limitless flowers and he plucked the stem off every one of those flowers and covered the jeweled road with that. So it was absolutely soft for Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet to dance upon. It was a wide road. Wide enough for all the devotees with him. But that wasn't enough. He was so thorough. He was literally going 1 meter at a time. He was building it. It's not that he just, okay, a road to Vrindavan. No, he was actually putting it together, putting the jewels, putting the stemless flowers 1 meter at a time. This was his meditation. And on the side of the road, 1 meter at a time, he was creating beautiful trees, especially bakula trees, with fragrant bakula flowers blossoming, blooming. And then he arranged for beautiful peacocks and parrots and singing birds like kokila, cuckoo birds, to be singing for Lord Chaitanya. And he would be going by and he'd be seeing these trees, he'd be walking on the flowers, he'd be hearing the birds, and behind the trees he created lakes. Each lake, the water was fragrant and it tasted like nectar. Each lake was filled with lotus flowers, fresh, fully bloomed blue lotus, pink lotus, white lotus flowers. And surrounding the lotus were very, very elegant swans swimming about. He was totally absorbed with love. When we are absorbed with love in the service of the Lord, it may be in cooking for Krishna, decorating our home or the temple for Krishna, speaking to someone about Krishna, giving someone a book about Krishna, sweeping a floor for Krishna. When we are absorbed with love, Krishna, he's Bhaktavatsal. By his own will, he's conquered by the love of a devotee who has that absorption. My worshipable lords, but I am happy because this is what you and my Gurudev want me to do. That's ahoitiki apratihata, unmotivated and uninterrupted. He was in the highest state of spiritual ecstasy because he was absorbed in love. Transcendental beyond all of the realities of bodily difficulties. This is our aspiration. To really be absorbed in pleasing Krishna. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he explained that the difficulties, the inconveniences, the sufferings that I endure to please you, Krishna, in your service, are the sources of my greatest happiness. bhakti is not just a sentiment. The more we're absorbed in trying to please Krishna, trying to please Srila Prabhupada, the Vaishnavas, trying to give pleasure to all living beings by connecting them, that's real happiness. That's the nature of the soul. That's the higher principle we read about in Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Narasimhananda Brahmachari, he was absorbed and he was pleasing Lord Chaitanya. And all of a sudden, he came out of his meditation. And he said to the devotees, Lord Chaitanya is not going to Vrindavan. They said, what are you talking? He's already gone. He's left. He's wanted to go so many years. What can stop him? He said, he's not going. He said, well, how do you know? That's not that there were cell phones where he was getting some phone call at Lord Chaitanya's. He said, because I couldn't pave the road or make the lakes or the swans or put the flower petals. I couldn't go beyond Kanai Natashala. So he'll only go to Kanai Natashala and then he will come back. And Lord Chaitanya came to Kanai Natashala, and by the influence of Sanatana Goswami, who said, don't go to Vrindavan with millions of people. You'll be happier if you go with less people or yourself. So he turned back. He couldn't go beyond. The love of his devotee. The love of Sanatana Goswami. The love of Narasimhananda Brahmachari. By their will, he could, but he couldn't. This is inconceivable, one indifference. He could do anything, but he can't do everything. He could have gone. He's the controller of all controllers. But by his own sweet will, he's controlled by the love of his devotee. And he couldn't go beyond because of that love. Yashoda, when she went to bind Krishna by ropes, she had dozens and dozens of meters of ropes tied together, and his waist was only this big. His waist didn't grow. But no matter how many ropes she put around, it was 2 fingers too short. But because she was so absorbed for Krishna's pleasure, in Krishna's service, he agreed to be bound by the rope of his mother's love. On this Republic Day, let us, as Jai Patak Maharaj exclaimed, let us understand the beautiful gift of this United Nations of the spiritual world and the basic universal principles of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita that could bind us all together on the higher principle of pure devotional service. You see, the Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita is the constitution in this sense, the Shastra for all humanity. Vedavyas wrote it in Sanskrit. And this was Srila Prabhupada's mission. In Vrindavan, he dedicated so much his life and soul to translate it into English, and then to inspire devotees to translate it in almost every language in the world, to create that unity in diversity. in the loving service of Sri Sri Radha Ras Bihari.